I am very confident about 2026 because what we are going to see is the president has done peace deals, tax deals, and trade deals, but one big, beautiful bill. And to go back to affordability, affordability has two components. So it's price of goods and real incomes. So under the one big, beautiful bill, especially for working Americans, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, auto deductibility on loans for American cars. That's all kicking in. Americans have not changed their withholding, so we're going to see substantial refunds to working families in the first quarter of 2026. Americans will change their withholding, and they will get an increase in real income. The trade deals that we've done, I was just at my hometown, Charleston, South Carolina. Boeing is expanding their Dreamliner plan, 1,000 new jobs, and I think we're going to see these plant openings every week. I am very, very optimistic on 2026. We have set the table for a very strong, non-inflationary growth economy.
Scott Bessent giving a interview this weekend at Meet the Press. He says we're going to see substantial refunds to working families in Q1 of 2026. Donald Trump has been catching a lot of heat over the last couple of months because of the fact that he's been focusing so much on outside of the United States, but it was to put in these potential really large, great economic achievements going forward for 2026, where that middle class will finally have jobs again. And when that middle class has liquidity, they can reinvest into stocks and, of course, crypto. And one of the best things I've seen for tracking the ETFs, as you know, we do track the ETFs on CoinMarketCap for Bitcoin and Ethereum every single week, but we don't really have any way of keeping track of XRP ETFs until now. You'll want to head over to x.com and follow XP Market. XRP ETFs are heating up and many don't know how or where to track them. You can now track live XRP ETF volumes, detailed spot market price for every XRP linked product, full derivatives and leverage markets, issuer launch queues and countdowns, institutional assets under management exposure across major asset managers, plus historical volume analytics and category level breakdowns. This is really cool. It's all free for right now. Don't know if they're ever going to charge for this, but the link is here. This is XP Market. Go check them out. When you go to the website, it is phenomenal. Even the way it's laid out is really great. But as we can see, the spot XRP inflow volume for XRP is $100 million in the last 24 hours. Leverage volume, $75 million. So that is correct. $175 million worth of inflows into the XRP ETFs. We even have this graph here that's giving us, I clicked on, this is all volume right here. We're going to click on spot only because this is the ones where these guys have to actually go and buy a 1-for-1. So we've got Bitwise, Canary Capital, Rex Osprey reporting right now. This is in the last 24 hours, as you can see, and you can see the charts. But what's also cool is down here, they also have the Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, Canary Capital, Rex Osprey, Grayscale, Amplify. These are the spot markets, as you can see right here. And then we do have also the derivatives leverage markets down here below as well. On each one of these sectors, you're going to see the volume in the last 24 hours per ETF. Plus, you're going to see the spread. You're going to see the total volume and the fee. So huge shout out to XP Market. Go check them out. And in an interesting post here for Ripple, it does also translate well over for XRP. But Reese Merrick, who's the senior executive officer, managing director for Middle East and Africa of Ripple, he says BlackRock's first board meeting in Abu Dhabi isn't symbolic. It's a signal. I'm excited for the continued opportunities for Ripple across the region. So what is Ripple cooking up with BlackRock over in Abu Dhabi? Also positive news, Tacorium CEO says Ripple XRP is on track to become a modern rival to JP Morgan once it secures its U.S. banking license. So as I've asked before, let me know down in the comments, would you bank with Ripple Bank? And in some unfortunate news for the real estate market, U.S. foreclosure rates have surged 32% year over year. And that's why I was talking about earlier with these middle-class people getting more manufacturing jobs to be able to work here in the United States. They'll be able to afford their mortgage, buy new houses, pay off their credit card debts and really pump some liquidity back into this market. Also, a major scenario going on with MicroStrategy and also JP Morgan as well. Teddy Bitcoin says rumors circulating the United States is contemplating a multi-billion-dollar investment in MicroStrategy, and they needed the MNAV to be 1 before it made sense for them to invest. So they manufactured a crash on Bitcoin. Now, you hear about this all the time, that the big whales and the big players, they are crashing the markets on purpose so they can enter at lower levels. And in reality, it seems that way. And it does seem that's a very realistic thing. Now, back in the day, you used to hear that a lot with Bitcoin OGs. Used to be able to crash the market like back in 2019, 2018, that they had enough cumulative strength together. They were all colluding behind the scenes on Discord channels, and they would all sell at the same time, crashing the markets, and they would all buy back up. Well, now the prices are so high, liquidity is so heavy that these OG players, they can't even manipulate the market anymore. Now we have to have the United States government and larger players stepping in to do that. And if you guys remember the other day, the other big thing that came out about October 6th was the reason for that crazy liquidation moment was because of the fact that the stablecoin USDE, which is issued by Athena Labs, was actually the one that depegged from $1. Stablecoin not equaling $1 is a massive problem. It actually briefly mispriced around 65 cents. And the reason this happened was because of Binance. They have a system where their pricing algorithms are only based on Binance prices. They did not take into consideration all of the other exchanges as a whole, causing this extreme liquidation. So when people are talking about what happened on October 10th, and they were talking about how Tom Lee says he knows who triggered the October 10th crash, and he said, oh, I'm not naming names. Everybody already knew who it was. It was Binance. And we knew that it was Binance because they had admitted to it that they made a mistake. They even paid reparations. There's actually a $100 million, $300 million fee that they used to pay back people that were liquidated and hurt on their platform, but all the other platforms also had issues. And another reason that the market crashed, or people are speculating on, is JP Morgan is purposely shorting MicroStrategy, causing a massive problem. Well, Michael Saylor came out and he had to defend his position because, as you know, Michael Saylor's strategy and his company's strategy have an average price of Bitcoin at about $76,000. If for any reason Bitcoin were to dip below $76,000 and then continue to get lower, MicroStrategy, the company, would potentially go bankrupt and have a severe problem. And that is why JP Morgan was trying to purposely short the stock of MicroStrategy to push them out of the market. Michael Saylor came out and said, strategy is not a fund, it's not a trust, it's not a holding company. We're a publicly traded operating company with $500 million software business and a unique treasury strategy that uses Bitcoin as a productive capital. Now, a lot of people have come out and disputed this whole $500 million software company because the software company itself actually runs at a loss every single year. Saylor went on to say that no passive vehicle or holding company could do what we're doing. Index classification doesn't define us. Our strategy is long-term. Our conviction in Bitcoin is unwavering, and our mission remains unchanged to build the world's first digital monetary institution on a foundation of sound money and financial innovation. So with all that being said, Donald Trump, Scott Bessent, and allies are working on a multi-step plan to bolster Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, and stablecoins while simultaneously defunding JP Morgan, the Federal Reserve, and the U.S. banking cabal to protect United States citizens. The administration views it as a defining battle. So let me know down in the comment section, who do you think is going to win this battle, Donald Trump or JP Morgan? CryptoQuant also has some great information here. The risk reward setup that only appears once every few years, the Bitcoin Sharpe ratio. Well, it has collapsed back toward the zero line, a level historically associated with moments of maximum uncertainty and the early stages of risk repricing. So as we can see with the circled lines here, the black line is obviously Bitcoin's price. The colored lines here is the Sharpe ratio. The last time that it hit this ratio, we did actually go into a bear market. The time before that was the kickoff of the bull market. So as of right now, we did just hit that level. There's a question mark here indicating which direction are we going to be going. We will continue to keep you updated, but this is a massive revelation that happens very rarely.